Hello, hello, hello again. This is D Booma San with Hunting Predators. We're going to be talking about vampires, pedos, all kinds of stuff in this one. The inspiration for this came when I watched the movie Morbius, which has Jared Leto, which is connected to the band 30 Seconds to Mars, which connects right into Max Spiers and stuff that he was talking about in a recent video I watched on him. I've been going back and watching Max Spiers, and if you don't know who he is, he was he never really liked the term super soldier, but kind of in that group where he was used when he was young and then started getting his memories back around the age of 30, 31. And he goes into a ton of stuff about vampires and some of the stuff that the Cabal's been doing, and I just had to put it all together, and I was like, where's this gonna go? And watching Morbius and seeing what they were doing there, romanticizing again vampires, and Jared Leto obviously being a questionable character, but I don't want to bash anybody. It goes into Marvel, which is owned by Disney, and it connects to Venom and Eminem. I'm gonna get into that. I was probably, as far as bands and music goes, I was so, I'll just say it, obsessed with Eminem, and for more years than any other band, and so this whole awakening's been was really tough, and it still kind of is, because I was into that stuff so deep, Hollywood and all that stuff, the music scene. Anyways, it's all going to connect together, and it's all going to be put together in this presentation. The content warning is the most important for this. This presentation is for mature audiences. I don't plan on editing out any like the bad words and stuff like that. Some of the material is definitely dark when you're talking about pedophilia and vampires, so viewer discretion is advised, and please be aware that I want to leave it in its raw form, so if you're trying to stay in the love and light vibration, you've been warned. But at the same time, we will end on a positive note, because I also just recently watched that Shawn Ryan Show with Ryan Montgomery. And that Ryan Montgomery is an ethical hacker that was taking down a bunch of pedophilia sites and outing a lot of pedophiles. And so we're going to get into all this in this one episode, and we're going to have fun. Like I say, I try not to take myself too seriously. I try not to obsess about making these, all written up decodes. I just want to share what's on my heart and mind in the moment. So, and not take myself too seriously. At the same time, there's whole world, this whole thing that we're going through is in a way a reflection of us. It's a reflection of the dark side of ourselves, of what it is to be in this 3D duality. We can go beyond that, and that's the plan, but we want to bring it all with us, this whole creation, everything. And we need to get away from all this vampire, adrenochrome, pedophilia, all that stuff. We're going to move away from it. And that's going to be the good stuff. So right now it's time to be warriors. It's time to be hunters. Let's get it.
I think what happened is when we were being used for, they were testing out how far they could push the trauma, because when certain sex rituals are done to a child under 5 years old, when a child is raped, and when a male child is raped, what happens is it releases the coiled serpent, or the kundalini, which is at the base of the spine, and it is opened up before it should be. Everybody has the kundalini raise at some point, maybe not everybody, but right. So it means coiled serpent, and it sits at the base of the spine, and when the serpent uncoils, it goes up the spinal column like this and comes to the brain stem there, and you come to an enlightened understanding. So you become an enlightened one, or the Illuminati, the illuminated one. When a male child is raped before the age of 5, it goes through something called the vasovagal shock. Now, when it's penetrated, the coiled snake uncoils very, very quickly, all the way up the spine to the top of the spine, and explodes here in the brainstem, which then shatters the consciousness into many, many pieces, like smashing a mirror. Then,
so all this ritual all this kind of abuse that's been happening with many politicians, allegedly, a lot of stuff coming forward now about British political parties, British media, British thing and all that. There's a huge amount of stuff coming out now. Is that all part of that?
You cannot be in a high-level person in the Illuminati unless you have been illuminated by the Key of Solomon. Now they call this rape, they call rape like that to a young boy the Key of Solomon. And when that happens, when it bursts up here, it shatters. Then you are able to program these different altars. But not only that, when it shatters there, you have a photographic memory. Somehow it raises the IQ. It does a number of different things. Everybody who is in a position of power now has had the Key of Solomon used on them, so they have been raped in that way.
Which means that the whole structure of power in Britain,
yes,
the UK, probably Ireland, because of the recent terrible things about 900 children, 800 children ritually massacred in Ireland, that means the whole power elite has been...
Yes. Yes, and they won't have you in the power elite unless it's been done to you. Just off sidetrack, Barack Obama, his middle name is Hussein. Well, Saddam Hussein was a major handler and programmer. He was such a high programmer that he would program some of our very high power position people through world leaders. And Saddam Hussein programmed Barack Obama with that way. That's why he has...
Do you know any others he programmed?
No, but I know that him and Hillary Clinton worked as a duo to do that. No, I don't. I mean,
Hillary Clinton...
Bill Clinton was programmed by Saddam Hussein too. All the Rhodes Scholars, all of the Rhodes Scholars have to be illuminated, have to have that done to them.
Why an Arab like Saddam Hussein?
Well, he had technology. He had hold of technology. He had hold of Stargate technology. That's one of the reasons why he was at one point he was one of the most powerful men on the planet, and the technology that he had was off the charts.
Now this is very similar to what John Irwin has said in his book, One Step Beyond the 16.
Yes, yeah.
Amongst other things.
Yes, he had that. It's sort of similar to there's a movie called Contact, and that spinning thing there which is able to shoot you through to different dimensions. So he had something similar to that. There's a few of them around, but he had control of that. He comes from, he's a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, and that bloodline, the Genghis Khan bloodline, who incidentally had the most powerful he owned the most land of anybody on this planet ever. Even more, I mean, the British Empire was secondary even to Genghis Khan's empire. And whatever...
Now, it's something that's been maintained on horseback. That seems to be a pretty big deal.
Right, because in truth they weren't just using horseback. I mean,
what were they using?
They were using interdimensional technology. Yeah. And Genghis Khan bred with multiple women, so he could continue that bloodline. Which
is that what Casbolt's doing, by doing all this contact with women, by having some kind of psychic link? There's been discussion that it's some kind of virus, thought virus he's instilling in these people.
Yeah.
Whoever's controlling him.
Well, I think that when the wars on Mars went on, there was a 100,000-year war, and a lot of us were involved in this 100,000-year war. And while this was going on...
Between who?
Between who? Okay, well, so the basis of it was between the Lyrans, or the Nordics, and the Dracos, because the Dracos are chasing the Nordics around because they want their DNA, because that allows them to maintain the holographic projection of a human being whilst they're here. So the 100,000, this was a long war. Eventually, at the end of it, what happened was that they had to call a ceasefire because so many were killed on either side. But there was a disease that got out, a virus that got out during this war, and a lot of us who were very involved in what was going on, generals, commanders who were up there, contracted this virus.
I mean, it seems as it must have been created.
It was created virus, yeah, and a lot of us contracted this virus, and what this virus was, some of us took it on board, took it and merged it, superimposed it into our own physical body to try and overcome it. And then now a lot of us still have it. I have it in me still now.
What does it do? What is it?
Well, it's vampirical. It's sort of like I mean, it's like a stereotypical vampire.
So what does that mean? You shapeshift and your teeth go long and you bite people at night?
It means that, well, yeah, but only somebody who was able to see or sensitive to that would be able to see it. It's not as if I would change now and into a monster like that. So if you're sensitive, you can see it.
What is the true shape then?
Of this particular one? Well, from this particular vampirical virus, they tend to look, this vampire sort of thing looks a bit like that old stereotypical vision of Nosferatu. Very, very pale skin, bald head, sort of dark eyes and sharp teeth, like that.
From the original movie?
Yes, like that. Looks sort of like
original silent movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has the ability. It doesn't have a core here. It doesn't have a central core where it maintains itself. It sort of has an opening here, like a void. So it doesn't maintain its own thing. So it doesn't maintain its own energy force. It has to take from others to maintain its holographic projection. And a number of us were infected by this particular virus that happened there.
Now why is that going to be a thing that would cause harm to people? What's the point?
Well, because
of
it
that?
becomes like a parasite, and then it starts to spread, and more and more and more. So it's like a parasitic virus that's on the face of this planet.
So how does it spread? By contact, blood?
Yeah, well, when you start, I mean, when you drain somebody else, you sort of, there's never really a drain. When it comes to vampires, they don't just take. There is a exchange. So they will take energy field or blood from another, but then they will exchange it with their own energy. So that's why a lot of the times victims of a vampire will start falling in love with the vampire,
yeah,
quote unquote vampire, because they will feel the feelings that the vampire feels.
Yeah.
And so they'll.
I mean, I have to say that seems very similar to two people that I know, two women I know. So
that it becomes like a bond like you can't even ever explain, an obsessive bond. And then what I think is they're very careful about is, but if you completely drain them, then their personality is wiped, and then they become one of them. So then the void is within them, and then they have to continue to take from others to maintain. So it's a virus. I mean, literally like a virus. For me, what I have come to the conclusion now, what happened with me is I absorbed whatever that energy was, whatever that consciousness was, into myself. And that's why when I was born here, or on paper when I was born here, I had that line go down the center of me, which was red and yellow. So the left side of me is a higher vibrational Syrian being, a blue Syrian being, and the other side of me is whatever this virus is that I've taken. And it's been a constant internal war to try and which one wants to take over the sides, each side of it. So if the Nosferatu type thing takes over, then I become a complete, whatever that does, which is continues with the virus.
Does it happen on full moons and you've got to...
Oh, well, I have extremely weird things happen to me on full moons. Yeah, actually it happened yesterday.
I mean, I'm being a bit silly.
No. Why wouldn't it? Because when it's a full moon, that's when the energy, I mean, it's a construct. The moon is a construct in and of itself. It's like the Death Star is a construct anyway.
So but when you're talking about the moon being a complete artificial construct.
Yeah, and it definitely is. It's hollow and it's an artificial construct, yeah.
Any other information you know about it?
Well, they're using the moon as a transfer point to harvest.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. John Lear says something like that.
When you're dying here, when you quote unquote die, you are going to a transfer point. And there's actually a machine. There's actually a giant machine up there, which then they do a lot of rituals up there as well, which then wipes. Who is it? Well, the majority of the moon is now run by the Fourth Reich. But there are, I mean,
so are you saying that spoof movie
is actually quite right on?
Yeah.
Yeah. They always like to tell you the truth with a spin of bullshit in the middle, but and then you're sent right back.
It's got enough of an atmosphere for people to walk around with very minimal.
Yeah. Yes. And huge underground stations and high technology and. So what you've got the Saturn as we have now with the ring around it, projecting out a false reality pockets. False reality. It hits the moon, and the moon is working like an amplifier, which then creates and projects the false reality onto this planet. Right. So we're living an inverted reality here. It's not how it doesn't.
What do you mean by an inverted reality?
Well, an inverted reality in the sense that. You succeed by doing bad. You succeed by fucking over, excuse my language, you succeed by screwing over your fellow man. If you're that's if you want to go along with that. I don't care if you succeed. I'd rather not succeed and be okay and take care of people I love. So whether or not success is not, I'm not interested in that. What I'm trying to do is change the frequency here, so that ceases to exist anymore.
You're talking about the moon?
The moon being an amplifier, yes. The moon being an amplifier. And, yes.
Well, it's interesting that they've announced, NASA's announced a contract to go to Mars with Boeing.
Yeah.
They're using a very similar rocket to the Saturn V. So that seems like a load of hooey for a start.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Only 2 solid rocket boosters. I'm being an anorak now, but you're going to launch the kind of weight that you expect to lift, to go to Mars, you'd expect rather more than just a big tin can tank and 2 solid rocket boosters, was that essentially all the shuttle had. Yeah.
Then they've got the jump rooms in on Sepulveda Boulevard, which is in Los Angeles too. Which is right. I lived on Sepulveda Boulevard at the ages of 5, 6, and 7, and I didn't go to school at that period of time. My parents didn't put me in school, and I spent a lot of time by myself. And there are jump rooms at 999 Sepulveda Boulevard, which was maybe 2 blocks away from where I used to live. And
the nines are significant.
Well, it's just, I mean, as I said, everything is reversal. So I mean, you have 666, but what really is 666? It's not quite what.
It's the interdimensional gate.
Right, and it's also talking about raw human being. I mean, the carbon atoms, 6 carbon atoms, 6 oxygen atoms, 6. I think.
Oh, right. I didn't explain that. Like.
It's well, the 666 is also it's also explaining to you time. 60 seconds in a minute. 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, so you have 666 there. It's old father time. And what creates time here? Saturn. Saturn is manifesting the false reality of time here. So the big illusion is time.
We have such big people in the past, the land of the giants,
yes.
Huge humans.
I'm not sure that they're gone. I just think the holographic projection is not suited for them for us to see them what they really look like. I think they're still here. There's an island where they have all the dinosaurs there already. They're still there.
You're talking about the movies now.
But that's a real place. They have that.
Where is that?
Well, it's an island off the South Pacific, from what I mean. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is SS. George Lucas is a CIA insider. And
you're saying that the good Jew like George Lucas is Jew?
George Lucas isn't. No.
Oh, sorry, I talked up Spielberg. So.
And I'm not saying anything bad about these guys.
But all these things are relative, and really,
absolutely,
the good bad thing is really academic, and really, if you apply those sort of terms, you're going to miss the point.
Absolutely. Yeah. With the dinosaurs on it, well, they're still doing experiments and testing them out. They're testing out what the abilities are, and if they can take certain parts of DNA from these dinosaurs and place them into human beings, what extra attributes.
Just continuing with the stuff that Barry King's father discovered in World War II.
Which was?
A lab with strange-looking humans being used for some kind of transgenetics or some kind of...
Right, well, you've got under Dulce, you've got the 7 levels under Dulce, where Nightmare Hall, which I think is the 6th level, where they've just put everything you could possibly imagine together, testing out things. That's not ever going to happen again. This will never ever happen again.
Why?
Trapping souls, because universal law now is not allowing it. It's gone too far.
I get the impression from other sources that what's been going on is so illegal.
It's so illegal. It's being stopped. A lot of these ones out in Arizona and Nevada now have been stopped, and because you've got people souls trapped in machines, where they cannot stop, keep coming back and back again for torturous lifetime after torturous lifetime. And this has been, over and over again. And, and you talk about, well, okay, well then, you want to leave? How are you going to leave here? Kill yourself? You kill yourself, you're not leaving. You're in even more trouble. So we're all now trying to find out how we get out of this prison without walls. What do? We look inside and understand we have to look inside ourselves and understand what's going on. Because really, all of this stuff is just a reflection of what we think about ourselves.
So the 9/11 thing is a mechanism for controlling that.
That was a huge Stargate ritual, and between those two buildings, when that happened, it opened an enormous. It was a Crowley ritual, and it was connected to the Boleskine house, other doorway that he didn't bother to close. But the
one in Loch Ness.
Yeah, he didn't close it. He couldn't close it.
Or did he not close it, or couldn't close it?
He couldn't close it. It was too much for him. He couldn't. Piled in all these lower fourth dimensional beings that are here now.
I didn't want to take part in any of that, so I stood well back.
Because these things are. We're talking about the Goetia demons, the high Goetia demons that were locked away for a long time.
And why are they called the high Goetia demons?
Well, in the 72 Goetia demons are ranked sort of similar to our aristocracy here. They have dukes and princes and kings and like that. And Crowley wanted to release them here, and the 9/11 ritual released a lot of them like that, because they want to create hell on earth. They want to create, well, hell is not the word they use, but they want to create the lower fourth into 3D here.
Yeah.
Because they like that. That's what they like. They like that. They're slowly introducing, so making it more acceptable that pedophilia is okay, more acceptable that heinous crimes are okay.
Yeah, I think this is important, that a lot of real bad guys are given the sympathy thing
yes.
on TV. And we don't want to push that analogy too far in the present circumstance.
Right, yeah, there's a few names I could say, but I'm not going to say any names because, we don't want to do that.
So there's a lot of basically demonology. What does it really mean? These are other types of dimensional entities?
Yeah.
They've got their own worlds to live in?
They don't. They're just off this frequency. They're in pockets, they're in a pocket just off this frequency. But they were locked down a long time ago because they caused such havoc and mayhem. The dark sorcerers.
Is this what you referred to earlier as going to oblivion, that you can recover?
The void. You mean? Yeah, they were locked in the void. It's in Superman 2, the original one, not the crap remake. You see Jor-El locked in these three particular demons in this thing like this, and they were locked away. Well, that's symbolic of a lot of these Goetia demons being locked down. Now, when you use Goetia magic, each one represents a different thing, maybe for money, maybe for food, maybe for power. So if you know what you're doing, it's necromancy. If you know necromancy is about the summoning and raising of these particular things. You can summon them.
Jimmy Savile's stuff?
Yes. He was actually very, very high up.
Well, he obviously must be, because of the clearance he obviously got.
Yeah, very high clearance.
Which is a big alarm bell for the whole echelons again.
Absolutely. But you can summon these, and if you do what you're supposed to do, if you do what they say, and they'll do you favors. And
that's at a cost.
Oh yeah, in the end it's at a cost. Yeah, you're selling your soul. And they'll have you after.
Yeah, and that means short-term gain, long-term loss.
You can even have what seems like long-term. You can have a lifetime gain. But
but after that,
you're always going to lose somebody close to you, because they always want somebody. They always want to take something from you that's close to your heart.
What happens to those people who are taken?
Well, they're dealing with going to the underworld, or whatever you want to call that, lower fourth, until they can capture enough energy to re-get into a new body again. They're about staying here. They don't want to go anywhere else or raise vibration. They want to stay here. So they're fighting to get back into a body again and do the same thing again.
Which is why we got all this thing, cyborgs, be able to have machines which last.
Yeah.
Well past the human lifestyle.
Yeah. But there's a way of doing it where you can rebuild the flesh and blood again as well. You don't even have to have cyborgs. You can do it with, especially with the cold-blooded, like the reptilian cold-blooded. It's much easier to build the building blocks of them than it is the mammals.
Well, that's interesting. That one of the things that the Casbolt mentioned was the certain people in charge of certain agencies had lived a long, long time.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like 100 years plus?
Yes.
Probably more.
Way more, yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot to do with, it's the blood. It's being able to, you can just change your blood again, or you can take somebody else's blood and maintain youth, keep maintaining youth. But what they're desperately after is the Holy Grail, which is which is the Priory of Sion protected for the longest time. You can get hold of that. That's eternal life. But the Holy Grail is really blood. It's blood from a certain stream.
I mean, that whole interview is gold, and I will link to it below the video. I believe it's Alkaline777 on BitChute is where I got it, and it looks like that account is still active and putting out some good stuff. I haven't completely vetted it, but this interview with Max Spiers, he was taken out in 2016 for the things that he was saying. He came out hard against Pizzagate and the pedophilia and all this stuff. And even in this interview, you can tell he's being very careful about what he says about specific people, whether it's George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, because I think you get to this higher understanding. All of us want justice, and I'm screaming for it too. It isn't the most spiritual thing to want to see these people hang, maybe, but at a higher level, you got to realize also, I think, this is what I'm getting from some of this information, is that we got to understand that the world's been inverted, and in some ways it isn't some of these people's fault. Whether it's like he talked about in the very beginning, they're becoming the illuminated ones by being raped before they're 5 years old. The Kundalini and the way the serpent comes up the spine and shatters the altars into pieces, and it's a very difficult situation. But this Max Spiers, like I said, he was taken out, and there was never even a post-mortem. It makes me sick that they've gotten away with this kind of stuff. And but he goes into everything, like Barack Hussein Obama. Where did he get that? Saddam Hussein, his handler, who had Stargate technology. I mean, right here, too, Max Spiers goes into the 100,000-year war on Mars, where they released the vampire. Did you catch that? The vampire virus. He goes into the vampires, but the idea that this is an inverted reality where we're all affected by it, like Max says, where we're, you are almost awarded, whatever, for doing bad, harming your fellow man, and that service to self kind of attitude that they want to instill in everybody. Anyways, so in another part of this interview, like I said, it'll be posted down below. The whole thing's just amazing, but he talks about the jump rooms, like the jump rooms to like Mars, for instance, and that's where the whole 30 seconds to Mars comes in. And then we're going to get into the Morbius here in a moment, and how Jared Leto, he's obviously highly connected. And when I was younger, obviously, I don't remember the dates. I'd have to really think about it, but I went to an Incubus concert. I was really big into the band Incubus, and Jared Leto, I didn't know 30 Seconds to Mars. I knew Jared Leto from some movies that I'd seen. He's a good-looking dude. He's got that star power, and but I didn't know anything about 30 Seconds to Mars, and I certainly didn't know that he had any association with it. I never would have thought that, because he was an actor, not a musician. And we were close enough to the stage for the Incubus concert in Spokane, Washington. I can't remember the name of the actual venue. It was like, wide open. And we were close enough that while 30 Seconds to Mars was playing, he even had bleached hair. So he almost kind of looked like Kurt Cobain in like a moon suit or something, like whatever you would call that. And anyways, I look up and I'm like, is that Jared Leto? And no one in the crowd, most people probably high and not even caring or whatever, but it kind of blew my mind. And then obviously I had no idea. Why would you call your band 30 Seconds to Mars? And now you get into this great awakening and the unlocking of knowledge and having this higher understanding. It's the jump rooms, like what Max is talking about here. And it just blows your mind how everything is connected. It's everything connects. Everything is for the same purpose, because they all have that same, push and this vampiric pedophilia nature that they're instilling in the world and trying to with this minor attracted persons. And we'll get into the Ryan Montgomery, Shawn Ryan Show later at the end. It's all part of their plan. And some of this stuff is just ridiculous. And you think, has this really been going on like this the whole time? Like, you got these FBI agents that are some patriot movement right after Biden talks about, how white supremacy is the biggest threat to America or whatever.
To stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. And I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go.
And then all of a sudden you have like all these white guys that have like masks on, but they all, have the same kind of attire as the FBI, and now they're all getting called out. It's like, was it that obvious? We really just weren't paying attention because we were so brainwashed. And most likely, like I said, I was obsessed with Eminem and just stuck to my own life, and I had a very small world view at a lot of times. I was always a questioner and curious about what things were going on, but you just can't believe how obvious it is, and it's sick to my stomach that all this stuff's coming out and nothing's being done. The sitting president taking bribes. It's all out there, and the hunter buying a laptop. But at the same time, I don't want to feel sorry for these people because they obviously made a deal at some point. But they're stuck in the same dang system that we are. And when you realize that the system really does reward you for being bad, for doing wrong, for being corrupt, it's you can see why some of these people do it. Or they're blackmailed, or their life is threatened and their family's threatened. Oh, this rabbit hole, if you want to call it that, goes so deep in so many different directions. And the thing that I liked about some of this too was that it goes through kind of the whole thing, this little section of this interview about how they've broken universal law with the soul trap. And you can't even die and find peace. And I know that really rubs a lot of us a little bit wrong, because we've been taught that you die and you go to heaven if you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and that he died on the cross to take your sins and take your place, and he did it for you individually and the whole humanity collectively, if you so choose to accept that gift. But the whole thing's a trip. And no matter what, at some point you did agree to come here, even knowing the consequences of being caught in the soul trap and having to fight life after life. So we got to remember that too, even though it's not. It's like, just show me a vision of that time, because I like to slap myself. But You know, we're creating warriors. We're creating, diamonds, if you will. Not that diamonds are worth anything, but, you know, the pressure and the amount of pain and suffering that we've gone through is going to create a soul that has experienced true evil. I mean, we watch movies with vampires and shows with vampires, and I mean, just I watched Venom 2 because of this, and because it connects too, and Woody Harrelson's in there, and he's kind of the antagonist in that one, and
Eddie, we should be out there snacking on bad guys. I am a predator. I need to be free.
You have got to get control of your aggression, or you will get hauled off into Area 51. You live in my body. You live by my rules.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please let me fix it so I can forget it again. You are a loser.
Eddie Brock, I want to give you my story. People love serial killers.
Please, why me?
What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. I have tasted blood before, and that is not it. All I ever wanted in this world is carnage. I'm not a crazy man. I am a vengeful one.
Oh, shit!
Whoa, where you going?
That is a red one!
You need to come out right now. I will let you eat everybody!
Promise!
I promise!
Oh, yeah!
Eddie, you feel like home to me. Like family.
Oh, wow.
You could just say, I'm happy for you.
That was going to be us!
I am happy for you.
No!
God, I'm so sorry.
Not sorry!
This dude needs some serious couples counseling.
he's like, people love serial killers, and it's true. Think about all the serial killers. They get all these love letters, they get all this love and support and money and all this kind of stuff sent to them, and they got like a fan base, and it's like this whole scene where people worship them, and they've done absolutely horrendous stuff. I mean, you know, cannibalism and all that stuff, all right out in the open, obviously killing many, many people and rape and all that kind of thing, and people just love them. And I feel like the world is so sick right now, and it's getting ready to just purge all this, that I think that they could come right out and talk about it, and I think that there would be a whole large percentage of the world that would absolutely just think that was great. Because when I was stuck in all this stuff, I thought life was boring.
Souls escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to postmortem. It only grows harder, homie grows hotter. He blows, it's all over. These hoes is all on him. Coast to coast shows, he's known as the Globetrotter. Lonely roads, God only knows he's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But hold your nose, cause here goes the cold water. These hoes don't want him no more. He's co-product. They moved on to the next mo who flows. He knows dove and sold nada. So the soap opera is told, it unfolds. I suppose it's old partner, but the beat goes on.
soul's escaping through this hole that is gaping. The world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem. It's, this is from 8 Mile, and when that came out, everybody loved Eminem. And then the Eminem Show album came out, which was his third album, and it was just one of the biggest albums ever. And I was a fan from him from the very beginning, and I always used to, think that was amazing, that I, knew that was the talent that he was from the very get-go. I used to just think it was great, but just you hear these lyrics over and over, and I got more Eminem lyrics in me than I probably have scripture. Hopefully the scripture is what's in my heart, but as far as in my head and gets stuck in my brain is these lyrics, and yet I never thought about it. The soul's escaping through this hole that is gaping. I don't know what that really means, but it could be something with the soul trap. Just in this little thing alone, it tells a lot. And this world is mine for the taking, service to self, make me king as we move toward a new world order. I mean, it's crazy how this stuff just is put in there, gets into your subconscious and your unconscious. And it's almost like a mantra in your brain that just plays over and over. But a normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to post-mortem. So you see these people up there, and you're just so obsessed with them because they've got it. They hit the spark. They've reached the superstardom that is ultimate in this life. And because I didn't have any, God in my life or anything like that. It's just, what is the point of life? And it's these people that have this energy that is so magnetized, or whatever the word is, just blown up to such an extreme proportion that you grab onto some of that, stardust, you think, and you go for the ride, and you follow these people, you worship them, you want to be like them. That's, part of the problem that we have here is so many people are still stuck on the stars, and we got our movement, and there's plenty of people that are waking up in that movement, and sometimes I feel like we're preaching to the choir, because how do you calculate how many people are actually waking up to this? But like I said, when 8 Mile came out, everybody seemed to love Eminem. Obviously, there's still a lot of Christian groups and stuff that hated him, but you don't think of it. I want people to maybe have a perspective that I can share that others might not be able to speak to. That when you look at these people and then you look at what they're saying, even if someone would have said, "Look what he's talking about, a new world order," I was like, it's just theater, man.
Hey yo. This guy raps like his parents jerked him. He sounds like Eric Sermon, the generic version. This whole crowd looks...
Or if you're talking about the devil and you're talking about Satan and selling your soul, it's just theater. It's just art. It's just a joke. It's I don't know what I would have thought not being awake, but seeing some of the stuff they're putting out there today, like the Sam Smith and all that kind of stuff, literally dressing up like the devil and stuff. But I was also big into Marilyn Manson. I liked stuff that pushed back on the normal life. I thought normal life was boring. Everybody's clean cut hair and nice little, whatever. Nice hair, nice clothes, nice job, but yet you're same people that are cheating on your wives and being drunks and alcoholics and all kinds of stuff. I just thought everybody's a hypocrite. This whole world is just filled with hypocrites. And this didn't necessarily help, even though it felt good because it felt cathartic. It felt like I was getting stuff off my chest and people were speaking my language, because I look at the world around me and I see all these people trying to be good people, yet they're doing all this bad stuff, whether it's control freaks or people that are using terminology against you, they use the Bible against you, tell you what to do, judge you. So you look at that, and this felt like I was on a team where it was like pushing back against that ridiculous hypocritical ways of life. And you got to get a job, and you got to pay a mortgage and have a family, and it was just like I just couldn't see anything fun in that, anything. And this was my release, but it being pulled between that world and the real Matrix world, I guess, was so destructive to my psyche, because I couldn't feel like a drone. I couldn't feel like a slave. I couldn't feel like a person that was never going to get anywhere and not make it. And it led to, some stints in some rehabs, and I even ended up for a week in a mental health clinic. You know, I called it the loony bin while I was in there, just to drive people nuts, the people that were working there, and because I was suicidal, and it was like, don't let me out of here, I'm gonna kill myself. And I have so many stories that I could share on that, but that's for another time, because we're going to get into some of this other stuff that's more prevalent to what we're going through now. And fortunately, I survived that. But like I said, these mantras in your head where you're nothing unless you're a superstar. You're nothing unless you're part of, like, you know, something where you can leave a legacy. You can have riches. You can travel the world. You can do whatever you want. Little to be known, and you never would have imagined that all this stuff was going on. And even though I liked Marilyn Manson in the sense, because I thought he just made people, you know, pay attention to something and challenge their worldviews, and was extreme, and I thought that was funny because I'm an ornery person too. You know, I like to see people's shocked faces and pulled out of their little normalcy bubble, and it led to a lot of insanity. When I was in that the loony bin, it wasn't, you know, straight jackets or any of that stuff. It was a lot of people from all ages, just reaching a point, you know, whether it was kids in college that couldn't handle their pressure of the exams and the finals and all that stuff that was coming up, or people later on in life that were having a mental breakdown because they've been fighting this fight for so long and barely able to get by. But there was a woman that asked in one of the groups, why does anybody ever want to actually commit suicide? You know how you're hurting people? And I was quick to answer, even though I'm a quiet guy, I don't. But when it comes to these groups, maybe I'm a little more comfortable, because we all can't really put up the fake mask and pretend like everything's cool in the world. And I was like, you convince yourself that you're doing people a favor. Yeah, it's going to suck for a while if you commit suicide, because they're going to be sad, but they're going to get on with their life, and they're going to go do what they got to do, because I'm so messed up, I can't stop doing drugs and alcohol, and seeing the disappointment on their face while I'm alive, it's a horror show. I live a horror show, and those visuals, images, words that are being said out of my mouth that I can't even stop sometimes because I'm so stuck in it and I'm out of my mind. So I'm saying things to people that I'll always regret, that I can never take back, ruined a lot of relationships that way, broke a lot of hearts, and you think you're doing them a favor. It's best that I just exit out, you know, the side door or whatever it is, you know. So it's nothing's so simple. People that are suicidal, obviously, if there was any awareness of some soul trap, maybe that would change people's mind itself. But you just want the madness to stop for yourself and for your loved ones, and you push people away. So it's quite the mess that we're in. That we got a lot of. I don't know how we're gonna deal with the mental health situation and all the stuff that we got going on in the younger generations that are so being pulled by this transgender movement and all the stuff that they're being thrown at. But I want to get us focused back onto where we were headed with this, and that was Morbius and the vampire, and eventually into the pedophilia. But the vampire thing, like Max was talking about, you know, it's all tied together. These guys are looking for the Holy Grail, and that's in the blood, a certain kind of blood. Do I know that's true? I don't exactly know that's true, but it sounds kind of convincing when you think about adrenochrome, chromochrome, and these different things that they're doing for life extension with, you know, innocent blood. So let's get into Morbius, and I'll start off by showing the trailer to give you a glimpse of what the movie's kind of about.
You need a doctor?
I am a doctor.
I should have died years ago.
People all over the world have my disease.
I'm here
To find a cure,
We have to push the boundaries, take the risks.
if you're gonna run,
Do it now.
you're strange.
Dr. Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger.
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
Faces look ugly when you're alone.
What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew. I went from dying to being more alive than ever.
It worked.
Not exactly. I have increased strength and speed and some form of bat radar. What else can I do?
There are limits. There has to be.
There's something inside of me that wants to hunt and consume blood.
Michael.
When you're strange. Faces come.
Can you control it?
I don't know.
Half the city wants to kill you.
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
The other half wants to control you.
Hey, Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch.
I'd do anything to save a life, but I don't know what I'm capable of.
You save lives, you don't take them. Are you here to heal the world? Or to destroy it? Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about, but I mean, you can go on YouTube and find all kinds of breakdowns of the movie. Obviously, there's people that know the Marvelverse way more than I do, the comic book world. I'm not going to get into that. Right here, you can see this woman. I said earlier in this presentation that they're romanticizing it, and as you can see, kind of probably from the trailer, they kind of paint him both as a good guy and a bad guy, the Jared Leto character, Dr. Morbius. And he's got this internal fight, kind of like what Max was talking about, between kind of good and evil, because he has a thirst and a hunger now for blood. And he tries to, some spoiler alerts just to give you a warning, he tries to use synthetic or artificial blood, and obviously that only lasts for so long. But this woman character, the female character, it's interesting how they do this. Obviously, there's special effects, and they get us all wowed, and we're just like, whoa, and we all think it's, most people think it's fantasy, and it's just made up and all this stuff. But as you can know from Max Spiers and all these guys that are talking about this, that this vampire virus is a very real thing. Obviously, with adrenochrome, these people even think of themselves as vampires, whether they turn into a character like Morbius does in this movie. She has this fear of him, but a sexual attraction to him to a certain extent, because it's alluring, this desire, this inability to not, this whole attraction between men and women in this world. It's got its beautiful aspects of it. Sex can be a beautiful thing, and then it can have its very animalistic, sadistic drive where I can't control myself and I need you so badly, and he has that for blood. But she sees that, in a way, it's romanticized to where she's like attracted to him, and she's not even, necessarily becomes to the point where she's not scared of him, and kind of jealous, maybe. I don't know. That's more of an internal thing for the character, but that's kind of what I got from it. And then I won't give away all the stuff. There's something that happens at the end, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So obviously they'll continue this series, but it's amazing. The more you wake up, you can see it in everything. And I know there's a lot of people that probably don't want to even, the eyes are a portal, and you don't want to bring this stuff into your consciousness, like I did for many, many years before I was awake and before I believed in God and all that kind of stuff, because you don't want it to get in there. But a lot of people are fighting this war, and you have to face this stuff, in my opinion. You know, everybody's got their own journey, so you don't necessarily have to. But when I watch this kind of stuff now, I'm watching it almost like a detective, maybe, or wanting to see how they're doing it with the masses. I can still kind of enjoy these films, but in the same respect, get I think the most important thing for me and where I've been, because I've seen a lot of this stuff already, and I don't, you know, I don't listen to all this music, I don't listen to Eminem, I don't listen to all that stuff. I'm not telling you don't do it, because there's like a superstitious aspect of it, I think, where we give our power away to it. And what I tell myself, you know, you can call it putting on the armor of God. I'll visualize myself in a protective bubble, if you will, when I view this stuff, and I just don't give it my power. It's like that movie It, where it's the character is, you know, when the children finally realize, or the grown-ups, I guess, that were children, when they finally realize that it fears you more than you fear it, because we have the power of God within us. If you will just stop giving it your fear, not that it's easy, because it's some scary stuff in the sense, but if you start to realize that if you stopped having the fear for it, you wouldn't give it so much power. And that's where I am in a lot of this journey. And it all connects. The romanticizing of the vampire thing, I won't be surprised if it does come out, and we'll see how the public reacts. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of outcry against it, and maybe even people that are like in the closet, but they're actually excited about it because, like I said, you think that normal life is boring. This whole world is just a, you know, pay the taxes and struggle to get by, and it's not enjoyable to a lot of people, especially the younger generations, and we got to understand where they're at and where they're coming from, because I was in it and I can understand it. And like I said, I'm not gonna not watch some of this stuff. There's certain ones that I don't need to watch horror films and put those back in my brain. I have enough nightmares and stuff like that I've dealt with all my life, ever since I was a kid. Even before I watched a lot of that stuff, I was into it. Child's Play with Chucky, all those things. But we gotta be able to see how it all connects. And like I've done through this whole thing, like the Eminem, his lyrics, his stardom, the celebrity, Jared Leto, the cult activity, his band 30 Seconds to Mars, connecting to the jump rooms that Max Spiers is talking about, the push for vampires and adrenochrome, which is connected to kids, Marilyn Manson, Smells Like Children on his album cover. It's all part of the same construct, and if we see it all, how it works, it is all connected, all part of the same machine, whether it's Sophia, the evil AI kind of thing that's been implanted into the AI system, still operating on the evil side, versus the actual beings like the Draco and the evil cabal that we know of, you know, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all the bloodlines. All that's connected, you know, back to Genghis Khan, and it's connected to the Saddam Hussein, the Stargate system. They make it all look like it's some beautiful thing where it's like you're raping a child before their age of 5 and you're calling them now an illuminated one. You're turning torture and blood sucking and murder and cannibalism and the drinking of blood to something that is beautiful. That's Satan, man. That's probably beyond Satan, you know. And we're exposing it, and we're seeing it for what it is. And I have more clips, but I don't want to take away too much more of your time. I'd like to keep these closer to an hour. But the beautiful side of this is we want to stand up and fight and expose and be done with this stage in humanity's, whatever this is, man. Sometimes it just feels like a human experiment. I just don't understand why the higher beings haven't, you know, shut this down, but I guess we have to go through it, because also, as Max says, we're all stuck in this thing. You know, even the people that we think of as bad guys, if you put it into an academic situation where you try to break it down, this person's good, this person's bad, I don't think so. I think it's good and bad within all of us. It's within all of us. It's a struggle. It's a reflection of our shadow, and we got to decide where we want to put our power. And right now, there's still a lot of people that give power to the bad side and this evil, because the world is not what it's supposed to be. We should have free energy. We should be flying around. We should have intergalactic capabilities, and we're stuck here in this soul trap, in this world prison, and we want to break free from it. And what else can we do? Now, there's things that some of us can't do, and I can't even do. I'm still learning how to do some of this editing. I'm trying to, you know, share my frequency out there a little bit more and expose stuff. Man, this project, trying to make it visually fun the whole time, I needed a little break, so I'm going to focus on some of these screens a little bit more and just finish up here. But that Shawn Ryan Show, what else can we do? Now, not all of us can be like a superhero or like a ethical hacker, because we don't know the technicals about it. And the, you know, CIA, the DARPA, all these jerks that are online, the evil AI, they have a superpower, and they can shut down our credit cards, they can shut down our banking financial system, they can ruin our lives, they could probably press charges for stupid stuff if we really got out of hand. And my prayers go to this Ryan Montgomery. But if we get more people that have the understandings that he has about network servers, the communications of automatic systems, algorithms, websites, and how they're put together, if more people like that get into this fight, we can support them, we can help them, and we can be a part of these taking down of pedophile rings, websites where they're sharing this stuff. We've been exposing Twitter and Wayfair and all these Walmart, all these big corporations that are so massive, that have been perpetuating child sex trafficking and human trafficking, adrenochrome, and the selling of children. And more of this is going to start to get exposed now, and so we got to be on the front lines and be ready. But we can be active in protecting our local communities. So what Ryan Montgomery does is, you know, he works in his local community. Who knows? He's so advanced with his abilities to hack and to expose these people and find out information that is public knowledge. He's not doing anything illegal. He's working with law enforcement, and he's catching some of these guys, and he's exposing them. And he has a YouTube channel. They just started doing that, where they actually go up and confront these guys and expose them. And if people are in the local area, you could tune into that. And I think this is the year to go after the pedophiles, to go after these predators that aren't predators in the sense of they're big and bad. Their self-esteem low. They're being vampirically, you know, basically manipulated by the bad ones and this evil that is in the world. I don't know if the Goetian demons have something to do with that. I don't know how some of that stuff works yet, but we can see in all of it, whether it's the entertainment, whether it's, you know, movies, music, internet, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all these things are being manipulated to harvest people. And obviously there's people that have probably been down in the dumps and manipulated MK Ultra and all that kind of stuff, and they're not on the surface, and they're sleepers, and they're waking up, and they're doing what they were programmed to do. And we got to be prepared for all of it. Let's leave no stone unturned, and let's join this fight a little bit more instead of just waiting for things to happen. You know, knowledge is key, so learning more about it, that's part of it. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years, learning some of this stuff. And some of it I don't understand. Some of it I don't know if I even know if I fully can grasp the concepts. But some of this stuff I got a pretty good handle on. And I use your backstory to now enter as a protagonist and join all of us, not just us, but other truthers. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think there's a lot of people in the truth movement that aren't who they say they are. They're there for other nefarious reasons. But you can start seeing it in everything. Like I said, I watched that movie Morbius because I knew it was about vampires and had Jared Leto. And I've already, you know, like I said, I want to kind of not, I like to make fun. I still like to, you know, like I put on that picture next to Kurt Cobain that Jared Leto's a poser and he's just part of the machine. But who knows, maybe Kurt Cobain was partially too. I think he was a more real guy. But anyways, you can see it in everything. In everything. You can see it in the churches. I'm ready for the churches, the Christian churches, all of it, to be exposed for the human trafficking and the sacrifices and all the stuff that they've been a part of, because they infiltrate anything that can bring them wealth and money and brainwash the masses. And as long as we wake up to this and put our energy towards what we see as a noble fight, like I say, this Ryan Montgomery, let's go ahead and show a clip from that. And then I'm going to have all the links to that kind of stuff below. I just think it's important to get the awareness out there and to join this fight on another level. And let's get it.
This stuff just goes on and on and on. And Ryan, I want to get you back here again to dive into this more, maybe in 6 months or so, because I know there's going to be a bunch of stuff that develops. But
yeah.
So I know you have a couple of statistics you want to rattle off.
Sure.
And let's rattle those off, and then let's try to end this with something positive.
Okay.
But,
yeah, agreed. So these are just just some statistics about human trafficking, which it coincides with exactly what we're doing, catching predators and these pedophile ring websites. 1 in 5 U.S. teenagers who have received an unwanted sexual solicitation online. That's Crimes Against Children Research Center. 13 years old is the average age at which a child first encounters an explicit website, which comes from Guard Child. 75% of children are willing to share personal information with strangers. That comes from E-Safety Commissioner.
75%?
75%. 50% of sexual exploitation incidents involving children that begin on social media platforms.
What was that percentage?
50%. They begin, which I believe is higher.
Yeah.
27% of online child exploitation cases involving a perpetrator who is a family member or acquaintance. Source: National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the people that ignored me. But yeah, 27% of people are cases involving family members and acquaintances, which I think that number's higher too. So they're just statistics. They're not always accurate. But either way, they're still horrible, regardless of which way you look at it.
Yeah, it's something to try to wrap your head around and understand the severity and how much this shit happens. But moving on, let's get into some good news. Let's talk about how we solve this thing,
right.
Which seems, when you look at it and you see you can enter just any chat room and somebody shows up in 5 seconds to...
Literally within 10 seconds we had that message, or it might have been 5.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
And we'll find out in the video when we edit. But just to bring some hope to people, we actually the videographer came up with a great option, at least to start. And he was saying, you make a database. We'd pull all of your information, intelligence that you've yanked out of these sites, and hopefully you'll continue to exploit these sites with that information, and make a database, a public database that has all the people that are associated with these sites, names, addresses, pictures, if we can get them, all of it. And then people, schools, businesses, people that are looking to hire, parents, anybody can just go onto this database, type in a name, see if it pops up.
Or a face.
Yeah. Or both.
Yep.
I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like we were saying on the break, it's not like these people are innocent by, there's no possible chance of them being innocent. There's chat logs of them talking sexually to what they believe is a minor, and then there's video evidence of them showing up there at the time they say they're going to be there, most of the time on the phone with what they think is a child while they're walking through the store or through a public place to meet who they think is a kid. So the database of, if a cop can't get a charge to stick, or the state attorney doesn't want to go through with the case, well, then the public should know regardless, because then they can make their decision based on the evidence that was gathered by the public.
I don't know what the legalities would be either, but if you are an attorney who knows this subject and you want to help, reach out to Zero Day, reach out to Project Veritas, reach out to us.
Yeah.
All those links will be in the description. But man, I think that would be, you know what else I think? We should shame the attorneys who are representing predators.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, there's no money in the world that you could pay me to get rid of this information, to stop the journey that I'm on right now. I don't care what you offered me. It's not happening. It's not worth it. I care too much about kids. I don't even have a kid. And again, off the break, I said, I can't, I don't know how I'm going to act when I have a kid. I'm already crazy, and, it's about my friends' kids. You know, like I need to find a balance between being a crazy parent and you know, and letting my kid have their own space, because I'm terrified.
Yeah, me too. You know, I don't even. This stuff really gets to me, and when we connected, I told you my goal this year is to dive into this subject and bring a lot of awareness to it. And man, this shit eats me alive, you know. But and then you read stuff like what California's doing, and it's. I mean, they're making this. They're trying to normalize it.
Yeah.
So if you're a pedo, move to California.
Right. Yeah. Move
if
there.
you're not down with that, move out of California.
I guess so.
It's getting to be that simple.
And I agree. Some of this really is getting that simple. And God bless Ryan Montgomery. Ryan Montgomery, he has a past also, I won't say similar to mine, but some of the stuff is similar when you're in the addiction world, but he has a past of some drug and alcohol abuse, and you get to hear his story, how he got into hacking, what he used to do, and how he's used, like I said earlier, the backstory. He's used his experience, his life experience. Some of it isn't always so pretty, and now we can make it pretty, or make it better and more beautiful, and turn that pain into beauty, and make this a painfully beautiful experience that comes out on the light side. And I want to share all the links. This, as you can see on this screen right there, I'm recording this at about an hour and 15 minutes in, so I don't want to keep you guys, as I appreciate your time. There's so much that I could have covered. There was things that I had intended to cover, but always know that this is an ongoing conversation that never stops. Not while my heart's still beating, not while we're still fighting, and not while we're still in this mess. And so the ongoing conversation continues with every video. It's just another tool, just another way of awareness and getting this stuff out there. There was stuff that I didn't cover that I wanted to cover, and I will cover that in a future video most likely. Yeah, I want to link as much as I can to this. There was ties that you'll probably see in this video that I didn't even touch on, you know, and I love that. Put it down in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. You know, the Venom thing connects to black goo, which is the programmable matter, and all this stuff which touches on the graphene and all the things that are trying to do with us and transhumanism. And I want to get more into the transhumanism eventually, but sometimes I just get inspired by something that like I said, I watched Morbius, and it just unlocked all this stuff that Max Spiers had been talking about, and it's crazy how the universe works. It's like we see and experience things when it's meant to happen. So future projects, when they're meant to happen, will happen. I think I'm titling this Hunting Predators, because I was inspired by Ryan Montgomery and what he's doing, and to see this around the same time as these other sources was just like blew my mind. I've been kind of working on all these projects for so long that I haven't really been watching a lot of material. I jump on Twitter every once in a while and see that, but that's what we're here for, man. We're sharing higher stuff. This is obviously surface level things with a lot of these people sticking to the mainstream, I guess, and picking apart their narrative. But man, I'm ready to talk about aliens. I'm ready to talk about vampires. I want to be at the Max Spiers level. He had a lot of experience that was personal experience. If I've been through that, then I don't remember still. So we'll see what comes in the future. But I just want to thank you all for being here and listening. And it's my pleasure to be able to offer these things to you. And I hope you get something out of it. And let's keep this conversation going. And yeah, God bless. God bless you all. Peace.
I pray for redemption.